but have you read them before at all?
Yes, I read the PowerPoint presentation. I haven't shown it to anybody else though.
Yeah, but the briefing text, which is here in this
Oh,
mission.
no, sorry, I haven't read that. No.
It is almost the same as the last time.
Yeah, I have heard about the changes, like the attackers now have some assault guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of radio frequencies in the command and signal, but we'll only be using the kilo frequency and Victor frequency because you guys only have one radio in your whole platoon, so there's really no need for platoon frequencies. And the rules are pretty straightforward, and yeah, I don't think there is anything relevant in the briefing texts. We'll be starting from the same place than we did before, on the northwest corner of the map, but the respawn point has been moved a little bit closer, so there won't be such a long way to come from the respawn. I'll load my markers to the map now. Here we go. So there's a lot of text on the left side of the map, just to make sure everyone understands, even if they're not in the briefings, that what the general idea is. And also I made a text on the upper side of the map about the respawning. The idea is that we have a wave respawn in about every 30 minutes or so. Everyone will spawn at the same time to that respawn point, and the idea is that the respawners will make some sort of coherent groups. They just don't start running east, but they have some sort of leadership in it, and you have 2 ammo trucks in your platoons, and the kilo element also has 2, so we have 6 trucks all together. I had the idea that maybe we should leave as many trucks as possible near that respawn point, so at least the first waves who respawn have at least one vehicle to come with. How does that sound, or do you want to keep your platoon trucks with you?
I think that we will probably suffer more casualties than we will run out of ammunition, so to speak, especially if we are assaulting. So probably lots of guys will die, and before we run out of ammo. So it's probably better to have the trucks back at the respawn points so they can use them to move up quickly and reinforce us.
Yeah, and they also come with more ammunition then, so
yeah,
it's semi-realistic as well. But Alpha Platoon said that they will have one of their trucks with them. That's okay. If Kilo leaves 2 and Bravo leaves 2, then we have 4 trucks at the respawn point, so we have for 4 spawn waves 1 truck, so I think that'll be enough. But the idea is that we'll start from the northwest corner, and during the respawn time, which is 15 minutes, we'll make a foot march to those hold positions, which is in the respawn point. I timed it. It takes about 7 to 8 minutes to walk along that road to the hold markers. It gives people something to do, that they're not just running around in the starting place. And it still leaves a couple of minutes for squad briefs. So during the safe start, move as full platoons to those hold markers. Victors will be there also. And move the trucks there as well. And when the respawn or the safe start stops, I'll give orders to Tango element, which is a rocket launcher, to start firing to TRP 8 and 7, which are in the north village. That is the maybe more probable advance route that the enemy will be watching. So that's why we're coming from the south, but we'll try to make it look a little bit like we're coming from the north as long as we can. I think the enemy will be defending heavily the river crossing. There are a lot of entrenchments around that area, so I think at least one squad, maybe two squads will be in those trenches and buildings watching north and west, and then at least one or two squads around that objective. And I think that at least one squad will be in the north village as sort of an first element to stop our advance. I don't think that the southern side is that heavily defended. Of course, there will be some eyes looking at that direction as well. But if we move fast, I think we should be able to get over the deep river and to the Hakamäki forest and near the river crossing pretty easily, especially when we have those two assault guns supporting us. But after the save start, you'll move to the staging swamp, which is in the southeast of the hold area. Alpha will take lead and Bravo will go behind Alpha. It is a large swamp, but there is a big grey rock at the marker I have placed. Grey rocks equals southern border. That is the southernmost limit. No one is allowed to go past the grey rocks. So if you go near the grey rocks and head east, then you will be safe inside the mission area.
The mission will tell you if you are leaving the combat zone.
Okay, good. There's a ridge line east of the staging swamp. The assault guns will go immediately there and begin overwatch, but you don't have to wait for my order when Alpha and Bravo are ready to start their advance east. Just tell me, I will give fire orders for the rocket launcher and you will advance east. It looks like open terrain, but there's a lot of defilade, so that should be quite easy to cross the first open area. The idea is that the machine gun squads you both have, Alpha support 1 area is good place for base of fires. So at least Alpha should leave their machine gun squad in that area. Also the tanks will advance somewhere around there. There is good visibility from there to the river crossing base, at least the south trenches of it. You start suppressing it, but Alpha should advance immediately towards northeast and start trying to get into the Hakamäki forest, and Bravo immediately after Alpha. The idea is that you can advance through the deep river or alongside it to north and try to assault the objectives. The assault guns will primarily support Bravo, but also Alpha. I just noticed today that there is barbed wire also in the deep river, which has to be breached. So I have to give order to one of the assault guns to drive over the barbed wire. Otherwise, Bravo is stuck in the bottom of the river. The barbed wire doesn't go very far east, but it's open terrain, so it's not very fun for you to try to go past it. You have a lot of smoke grenades in your platoons. Use them, especially in this stage of the mission. Do you have questions about this phase?
Yes. When should Bravo advance towards the objective? Do we wait for Alpha to move out for their objective?
Well, the idea is that both objectives are taken simultaneously, but it's good for you to let Alpha lead also past the support 1 phase, because it's difficult for you to get out of the deep river if there is enemy also east of you. So the idea is that Alpha will keep them busy east of you, so you can focus on the objective.
Okay, so we will follow Alpha and then split up to the north when we reach the river, basically.
Yeah, just don't stop. That's the idea. Keep moving forward. When the enemy realizes what's happening, then we are losing our element of surprise.
Yes, and it takes one machine gun team in the river to stop us, basically. That's the problem. So that's why we need to use lots of smoke. I see that.
Yes, and also fire and movement.
Yeah. So, but did you want, just to clarify, did you want me to leave my machine gun squad as well in the support position, or do you want me, or can I bring them up along the river?
I think one squad is enough with the 2 assault guns. You can take them up if you like. Of course, they are better the further off they are from the enemy they are shooting, but it's your call.
Okay. I will take a look at the terrain in game and decide, I think.
One possibility is to put your machine gun squad west of the objective. Somewhere around there that I marked with the green.
Yeah.
But the difficult part is that you don't have any communication with them after that.
Yes, exactly. I will have to tell them to stay there for a set amount of time or something like that. And also, it will be hard to prevent them from shooting us as well when we advance. Yeah. So we'll see. I will probably try and keep my platoon together as much as possible because of the difficulties in communication.
Yeah, you don't have to use only the deep river. You're of course allowed to use the terrain as you see fit. If you need to go east with Alpha, then you go east with Alpha. We'll see what the situation is. But the deep river is a very good route of advance to a certain point. The problem with the rocket artillery is that it's not accurate. It has about 300 meters to 300 meters area effect. So we can't really use it when you're near the objective. But we'll try to drop artillery in that area before you get near.
Who calls in the artillery?
I do.
Okay.
If you have good targets, you can, of course, ask it in the company radio, but I'll give the call. The idea is to use all of the artillery in the beginning because it's a very boring job for the one guy to sit in the artillery computer screen. We have 10 salvos of 6 rockets, so we'll try to get rid of those as fast as we can. But if Bravo has difficulties of capturing Bravo Objective 1, the idea is that Alpha, of course, supports the attack from the east side. And we don't stop until we have both objectives cleared. After that, if Bravo has enough men to advance, you can advance north. The problem is that the one squad who is up in the north village, we have to do something about them. If we just turn southeast, then they will attack from the rear. So we have to clear the north village. But I think the enemy won't try to hold it. They'll retreat from there with trucks, or they will retreat by foot going north and east. But it has to be cleared. But the assault guns will at that point both be designated to supporting Bravo. Alpha will at that time reconnaissance the Hakamäki forest and try to prevent a possible enemy counterattack, but not aggressively go towards Alpha Objective 2. If the resistance is light, then of course go to Alpha Objective 2, but there's no rush. During that time, I think we will have the first respawn waves coming from the west, and the idea is that everyone will first arrive at resupply point 1. I will be there, or my CEO will be there. And if if you have moved forward, then if no one is at resupply point 1, then the second one will be at resupply point 2. And we might bring trucks if we have them to Bravo objective 2, so we can get Bravo faster southeast, but I don't know what will happen.
All right.
Do you have questions about phase 2?
Yeah. I agree that the enemy will probably retreat from the northern defenses because there is no strategic advantage to them holding those either. Since the objective after river crossing is the old battalion headquarters. So I'm thinking that maybe I will only send up like one squad to reconnoiter and move down with the rest of the platoon. And just in case, and if there are enemies, then maybe we need to change those plans. But I'm thinking that it might be take a long time to move up there with the entire platoon. But we'll see how much left, how many guys I have left after taking the river crossing, of course.
Yeah, the problem with splitting your platoon is the communication, because we don't have radios.
Yeah.
So you have to give really exact orders for you to ever find them again.
Yes, and I have to tell them that they have to be at this point at this time basically, or I will never find them.
Yeah,
so
but
we'll
the reason that there might be enemies still there is that when they lose their communications, there might be a squad leader who doesn't know what to do, and he just sits there.
Yeah.
So it'll unfortunately take time, but we have to still check it that there is no enemy there. But it's also a good time to resupply the platoons. But after we know that no one is in the north, then the idea is to regroup at Alpha Objective 2, and Alpha will provide support for Bravo's assault across the small opening to their Bravo Objective 3. If we have still assault guns left, we'll try to suppress the flanks with those guns. And when Alpha sees that Bravo has cleared the open area, then Alpha will follow and go past Bravo and try to take the final objective. How does this sound to Alpha?
Yeah, it's good.
Typical Finnish answer.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the most dangerous and difficult part of the mission is the beginning. But the idea here is that the entrenchments around the river crossing they're notoriously difficult to shoot into with anything. So they're pretty easy to defend. So when we come from the south, we can minimize our exposure time to those entrenchments. There's fewest entrenchments to that direction. The big question is where is the enemy's AT gun? It's probably watching the respawn route road or the northwestern open area, but if this plan leaks, it might be watching our way of advance. So it's very important to find the AT gun as soon as possible.
I think it's near the river crossing, so it can fast go watching north or south.
Yeah. And if the enemy loses their AT gun, it's probable that they will have more AT guns southeast. So even if we destroy one, don't get too relaxed about them.
I think I'm going to hunt the first AT gun with Alpha 1 squad when we are in Objective 1.
Yeah, I heard that Alpha might have one squad less. So you're not as strong as Bravo, but we'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, we will make it work.
Yeah. The assault guns will also be listening to our company net. They will have their own frequency, so they can discuss in Finnish what they need to do. But of course, we'll all be speaking English in the company net.
Yeah. I think from my perspective, the most important part here will be to keep the tempo up in the attack on the river crossing, that we don't get stuck in the river and that we don't slow down. So I will have to be really clear to everybody in my platoon that we don't stop for anything. If they are wounded, they will have to be left behind and so forth. Because a lot of us mostly play co-op games and we're not really used to, like, we don't play that much TVT. So we're not used to the tempo that you really need in these matches. So I will have to try and just be very clear about that we will need to advance quickly or we will not make it. Also, if there are enemies in the river, we'll have a tough fight on our hands because we will be advancing basically in a file towards them, but we will use lots of smoke and just basically bomb rush them, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll order the assault guns to fire, or you can ask them to fire in front of you in the river.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be at least one machine gun at the bridge, at the river crossing looking south. But that's why you have the smoke grenades.
The wind should be good for the smoke grenades to cover much ground. You should test the smoke grenades yourself, so you see.
Yeah.
But if Alpha gets sort of into their area before you're too far up north, then it shouldn't be that difficult to get out of the river. So you don't need to be that fast. It's good to give Alpha a little bit distance. The further they get up before you approach your objective, the better for you, because the enemy's attention will be also towards Alpha. And if there is some machine gun in the river crossing, Alpha can destroy it from east.
Another thing I was thinking about is there a way for us to move into the staging swamp without being seen from the river crossing?
Yeah, they won't see it.
Okay.
You'll see it when you go. The respawn point is on top of a hill.
Yes.
But there are quite tall trees on the ridgeline 1, so they might see us crossing the highest point, but they won't know if we're going towards the respawn route or the staging swamp.
Yes, I'm looking here, and it looks like south of the road there is a depression basically that you can follow. It looks to be quite low, lower even than the ridge line, or at least somewhat lower. So maybe that's a good route to follow into the swamp. Yes, I will look at the mapping game and just like try and find best possible routes of approach, I guess.
Yeah, if I have the manpower, if I have someone to go and throw a couple of smoke grenades north of the respawn route, then I will do that, and so we'll make it look like maybe there's some elements coming from the north as well. But I'm not sure how many guys I have in my element, so we'll see. But that's pretty much what I have to offer at this point.
Just the minefields, they are it's basically forbidden terrain, right? Even for infantry, is that correct? Or is it only for vehicles?
No, they're real minefields with both mines.
Okay.
You can go there, but
okay, yeah. Okay. So it's not against the rules. It's just that if you go there, you will get blown up by the mines.
Yeah.
Well, if you're lucky, not.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not in the way really, especially for Bravo.
Yeah.
for Alpha it would be easier if it was a little bit smaller, but they can go around. Near the text Deep River, you can see an altitude marker 12. It means there's a small, well, not a hill, but higher ground. So there is defilade towards north in that area.
Yeah.
But we have to remember to ask the vehicle to destroy the barbed wire. That's a little problem.
So we don't have wire cutters then?
No.
Okay.
But I tried it once, just for the laugh of it. It's not. You can drive a tank in the riverbed if you want. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it's not very deep.
The enemy also has one squad of anti-tank rifle men. They might be an autonomous squad, or they might disperse the guns to the infantry squads. But if I understand correctly, their effect is mostly towards the tracks, not really destroying the vehicles.
Yeah, when we had them, we had some last time, and when we tried it on that was of course the Russian tank, or the Russian assault guns. But yeah, they can basically only be used on the tracks. I think you could possibly penetrate from behind or something like that, but it was mostly only effective if you shot the tracks.
Yeah, so if we keep the assault guns a little bit further away, they should be pretty much safe from everything except the AT gun. They have pretty fast rate of fire and a lot of HE ammunition, so they're pretty good guns for us. They don't have machine guns, so they're not that good at suppressing, but this is the plan. Maybe from a tactical perspective, like the best route for us to attack would be from the north, and using the northernmost area of the map and the easternmost forest. That would be very advantageous for us, using the tanks and going through there. But I think it will be more fun to use the Hakamäki area for fighting. More immersive.
I agree, and also last time we went north, so I mean, it's good to shake things up a bit.
Yeah. In the last phase 3, I've marked a small ditch. It's not very deep, but it's a ditch that can be used to advance through the open area if needed. But that's more for Alpha, I think. If you don't have assault guns left at that point, then we might have to change it up a little bit, because the flanks are a problem in that phase. We might need to go both platoons from Golf 1 to Echo 9 or something, but we'll see what happens.
One question about the last phase.
Yeah.
If our attack through the forest goes very well, and we basically the enemy resistance is light, can we keep pushing into the headquarters from Bravo? Basically, if we have the momentum, or do you want us to stay at Bravo Objective 3?
If you have the momentum, you can of course use it. Probably you'll have to stop there. But if there is no enemy ahead of you, then you can of course advance. Alpha will follow, and at that point there's no need to stop anymore. Just go ahead to the end.
Yeah, okay.
Probably our platoons will be pretty broken up that point. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Probably.
Because the defenders don't have radios, if I understand correctly, their defense will be very rigid. So I think it will be pre-planned positions for the squads. So when they lose the first area, I would think that they will retreat to the second area and not try any counterattacks. But of course we cannot know it. But without the radios, it's very difficult to lead.
Yes, definitely.
Especially if there is groups of people who haven't played that much before with each other. So
yeah, who is on the other side? It's I know that it's UO, United Operations, and also of course some guys from Arma Finland. But are there any others? Other communities on the other side?
I don't know. It doesn't make any difference for me. It's a little bit metagaming.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm just thinking about how like if I play against them before or something.
Yeah, the leader is from AFI.
Oh, right.
Quite experienced, but I don't know. But the most important thing is that the FPS would be good. Everyone has a good time. I think I have two concerns. One is that we get too lucky with our rocket artillery. It's a very boring way to die, getting hit by a rocket.
Yeah.
But that's just pure luck because the spread is all over the place. My other fear is that the phase 1, when we are trying to cross open areas, that the enemy is holding it very strongly and we'll be killed in the river and in the open areas. That won't be fun for anyone, but we'll have to do our best. If we get into the Hakamäki forest and river crossing area, I think that everything will be fine after that from the fun perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably from the defender's perspective, getting killed by artillery is probably like the worst thing that could happen because you just die randomly. And from our perspective, obviously, it's going to be getting slaughtered while running across the field. But that's fun too as well. So and I mean, we get to respawn, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, if we get slaughtered in the beginning and everyone goes to respawn, then we have to probably attack straight from the west through the respawn route. And if that happens, and I'm nowhere to be seen and our EXO is nowhere to be seen, then I would advise for either one of you to stop people at the respawn route where the black line turns from north to right. That part of the road, stop everything and make a coordinated attack from the west. But that's impossible to plan.
Oh, right. Maybe I should ask that question actually, because when you spawn at the respawn point earlier in previous missions, whenever we respawn, we wait for transport. But will that be the case this time too, or should people move on their own?
Yeah, we don't have any designated people driving trucks back and forth. From previous experiences, we've heard that that's pretty boring for the players.
Yeah.
So the idea is that if we leave as many trucks as we can to the respawn point, I've written it under the after respawn text, only one truck per respawn wave. So when people respawn, there is one truck for that wave to use. That holds 12 people, but of course you can drive it back and forth. So the first people will start going with the truck and other ones will follow on foot. And if they're nice guys in the first truck, then they will turn back and pick up the people coming from the rear. But that's the way that no one has to really play the part of a truck driver.
Yep.
But if you're one of the respawners, you take hold of the people and say that, okay, who's from Alpha, who's from Bravo, okay, you go there, we'll go to this truck and you'll follow through along this road and we'll come back for you and so forth and so.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, definitely. I will tell Bravo that whoever is the highest in command with the respawn wave will take command and be responsible for doing that.
Yeah.
So
and
just to make sure that we don't go ahead. Sorry.
Hopefully we have either me or my exo at resupply point 1 telling that where your platoons are at that moment, so we can give directions from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming that if the first respawn wave comes before we have captured the river crossing, basically, if that fight goes very slowly, then the respawners will have to move along the same route that we used initially, I guess, up to the Alpha support position and down into the river and move up to our platoons. But
well, I don't know. It might be a good idea to attack from the west.
Yeah.
With that, well, I don't know how many people it will be, but
well, yes, but that's a good idea because at least it will be a distraction.
Yeah.
So that's probably actually a good idea. But I will tell my guys that whoever is highest in command from Bravo will take command of everybody from Bravo and move up in an orderly fashion because the only thing I'm worried about is like if there is chaos and people run off on their own because that really needs to be avoided.
Yeah, I think whether or not when you respawn, just follow the respawn route. If there is enemy in the way, of course, attack. If there is no enemy, then just go ahead and move. Of course, not drive with the truck blindly.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea as well. To not drive the truck into the enemy. That would be a shame. The markers here for the I think these are like bunker markers here on the map. Are those accurate? Are those where the enemy fortifications will be?
Yes.
The triangles.
They're trenches and pillboxes and mostly trenches.
All right.
So not really bunkers, but
yeah.
But if you do some sort of recon in-game, you'll see them. From an immersion perspective, I advise not to go too far east, but maybe advance to Alpha Support 1 and maybe check the deep river, but if you want to be immersive, not go further than that.
Yeah, that's too late. We did that last time. We went all the way to the battalion headquarters. So, but
it is all old positions, or
yeah,
we kind of know the choice.
Yeah, it's good to have some sort of idea where you're going, but not to spoil too much.
Yeah. We'll probably not do it. We will probably not like open the actual mission. We will only do it on the map itself, so we won't see everything in the mission, because that's a bit boring. So we will only look at the empty map, I think.
Yeah. I don't think there's a need to go in game now at this time, or what do you think?
Not from my perspective, no.
Alpha Lead, you made some of your own markers. Do you want me to copy everything, or?
Yeah. I'm going to make some of my own markers. I think I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, if you make your own markers in an empty map, you can paste them on top of my markers.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So if you do, you have to put markers before you go in-game. You can only put side markers at this point. If you go in-game, you can only use direct communication. But you just place side markers and just double-click somewhere in the map.
Oh, of course, placing markers I know how to do, but how do you copy and paste them into?
You have this cogwheel in the right side of your text screen. Yes, can you see it? Gray wheel.
In what screen?
Yeah, when you double click and try to make.
Okay.
Yeah, there should be.
Yes, I see it. Okay.
It gives you advanced options, and then there is advanced ...
So I can save them here.
Yeah, you click them. If you push to profile save, it goes to memory and stays there. The next time you open the game and push load, it just appears on the map. If you push save to clipboard, then you can paste it to a Word document and paste it from there to that enter array box and load. So you can have multiple pre-planned missions in your Word documents. The profile only remembers the last inputs.
That's really good. I'm going to look into this. Is this your mod, or is this available on like Steam or something?
Yeah, it is public.
Okay.
But it is all. We have some hot fixes.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's SWT markers, Sweet marker system, originally.
Yeah.
But Avi has made some changes. But the basic functionality is the same.
You can copy to the clipboard only in single player, I think.
Yeah, I've been copying my plans to Word documents for years.
That's a really good idea actually, because it's really annoying having to place all the markers during the briefing yourself, like during the actual briefing. So that's really good. I will definitely look at using this mod. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we have 5 respawn waves then.
Well, I think they are not unlimited, but
okay.
I don't know how many. But if they come half an hour or so, we'll be playing 2-3 hours. So
yeah,
I think 5 is pretty much the maximum.
Yeah, that sounds likely. I have no further questions about this mission, so
good.
Unless there's anything to add, I will.
Well,
I've recorded this briefing, by the way, so I will upload that to YouTube. Obviously not public, but I will make it unlisted, and I will provide that link to the people in my platoon. Not everybody in my platoon, obviously, but the XO and the squad leaders, so that they can have a look at as well before the mission.
Okay, so on Sunday, I'll just make a quick repeat of the briefing especially for the victors and the tango element, but we'll use max 10 minutes for that, and then you have time for your platoon briefs.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think it's good to try and cut down on the briefing time as much as possible. So that's good.
Yeah, if we can also do it that I don't give company briefing at all to everyone, just the victor leaders and the tango leaders. If you want good time for your platoon briefs, if you already know the plan.
Yes, that could work actually, as long as I make sure that all the squad leaders and know the plan basically in my platoon. Then we don't really need a company briefing. It's only if you have anything you want to add that something comes up until then.
Yeah, maybe from the respawning. I think that's important for everyone to understand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you for this See you on Sunday.
Yes.
Hopefully have a good FPS this time.
Yeah. Well, it can't be worse. So
that's true.
Yeah, I have high hopes. But yes, thank you, and we will see you on Sunday.
Yeah, see you.
See you.